Well, good morning, friends. I'm going to do this garden tour this morning off camera because I want to show you more of the plants and what's going on in the garden. These are my potatoes. First thing in the garden. We do have a little bit of some grasses and things that need taken care of. So we've been working on that. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go. But I wanted to share with you all the things that have grown and just what's going on. Now these are my potatoes. I did find one single potato bug in there. And I've used a chemical called 7 Dust on these potatoes. It's the only place in my entire garden that I've used it. But we did have an experience with potatoes where the potato bugs had eaten and just taken over. And so just to prevent that, as I did find one potato bug on there, I did put some 7 Dust in there. You may be able to see down how tall these potato plants are. They're pretty tall in here in this box. They're also planted very, very deeply. So, anyway, they're doing pretty good. I stepped on one of my cloche milk jugs. Just because it was in the walkway here. Now, we've got a lot of bolting going on in the garden today. I already pulled a lot of my bok choy out that was bolting the winter choy. This is a really small bok choy that I planted from seed, and it is bolting. You can see here. You can see how it gets longer, the leaves get thinner, it starts setting off some flowers. Over there you can see a container where I tried to save some of the pods, but I didn't wait till they were brown enough, so I don't know if I can salvage them or not. A lot of the bok choy in here has not bolted, but you can see one right here that's started to go. This is early. This is when you want to. This bok choy here has started to bolt, and this is really when this is a last chance to harvest type of thing. These are cool weather plants. They really don't want to do much after it starts to get about 85 degrees. This is a little carrot that took off. I didn't have very many. Carrots don't do really well in the hot weather either, so it'll probably bolt. This bok choy hasn't bolted yet. This is a broccoli that we had planted from seed, and so is this. Here's another little bok choy. Now the slugs have loved these guys. You can see the lacy leaves down there. I would come out and pick the slugs off about every day. So about 15 or 20 slugs a day. So this bed has done really, really well. These are all things that I've grown from seed. This is chard. It is beautiful. But there's some pest pressure there, you can see. This is a bok choy that's done really, really well. We can harvest that now. And that will be a really good eating plant there. It's lovely. It is not bolting. Some parts of the garden, things will bolt, and other parts they won't. It depends on how much sun. Like in that very far bed over there, that last bed, that's where my bok choy bolted first. And then in this bed over here, on this side, it didn't bolt until later. So, different parts of the garden, things will bolt at different times depending on the sun and the temperature and things. So there's some more bok choy. Another broccoli plant that I planted from seed. Another little bok choy. Now this one, the ones that get shaded, they tend not to bolt as fast. And I'll show you another example of that in just a moment. So these bok choys and broccolis are the spring vegetables, and they will be coming out as they bolt. But here's the yellow, no, this is the San Marzano tomato, and it's starting to pick up some flowers here. You can see they're starting to set some flowers. So they won't be long until they get some tomatoes. These are also San Marzanos. I planted these, they started from seed at the same time, but I planted that one in the garden a week before these, and they have just grown a lot. It has just grown a lot more. These are the yellow pear tomatoes, and they have reached the trellis, you can see, and they have set some flowers, and they're getting ready to set some fruit. So I'm excited about those. Those are definitely summer plants. They'll be in the garden when the others bolt. Okay. Here, I've got an umbrella. That's why you keep hearing things clanging. This is the bok choice seed pods that I picked too early. They're not brown yet. There's some seeds that are just, they seem like they're just popping right out. So I hope that setting them out in the sun and letting them kind of dry out would produce some seeds. Some of them look really mature, but I don't know. I didn't let them sit on the plant long enough. I got impatient and pulled them out because I wanted to plant some peppers. I have already removed 3 of my winter lettuce plants here that were bolting, and I'll show you some more that are bolting across the way. This is the red lettuce, and it is starting to bolt. It's ready to come out. I will harvest this one today. I might harvest all of them today and put them in the fridge. This one is setting some flowers. So if I wanted to gather some seeds from this, I might leave this in here until these flowers set and the seed pods become brown. So I might do that. I don't know. But that's what that flower looks like. This is the most delicious red lettuce. This I started from seed, and it has just, it's beautiful. Even as it bolts, it's beautiful. I will definitely grow this one again. These beans, I planted a little bit thick. I'm going to be thinning these out. These are the Greasy Grits Appalachian beans that I got from Baker Creek. And I planted about 25 in this row. I really only needed about 10 plants, or 12 or something. So I'll be thinning those out. And on this side are these long noodle type beans. And they're not as thick, but I'll be still thinning them out a little bit, probably. I don't know. About one every pole here, or every 6 inches is what I need. So they still need thinned out just a bit. The garlic on this side has started to bulb. You can see here, let me zoom in here. There's one of my garlics that has really started to bulb. You can see another one there and one there definitely. So these are getting very close. The tips of them are still very green, as you can see here. But they've started to yellow just a bit. So as they yellow and the tips die back, we'll be closer to them coming out. Now there are a couple of onions I planted underneath these cabbage leaves, and they've kind of got buried. You see one right over there, and they've gotten buried. And anyway, I wanted to show you one example of a lettuce plant that didn't bolt because of a leaf, and I just remembered telling you that. Hold on. On this side, these kale are doing wonderfully. They are resilient. Now the red kale does kind of limp when it gets hot, but the green or the blue kale here does not. These kale plants have been my favorite thing in the spring garden. They're delicious and they're hardy, and they just, they're so good for you too. But you can see here some of the winter lettuce plants are bolting. These have got to be removed. I'll be removing them today. You can see they're setting some seeds right here. And I'll be removing them. I've got plenty of winter lettuce seeds. But here's an example of one that did not bolt because it had shade from the kale. Now, that being said, they also have plenty of pests. This is a nice sized little slug, and so is this one. So I pick these off all the time. Yep, slugs. Okay, so here are some pickling cucumbers that have come up. And on this side, these are our English cucumbers. And these will be growing up this trellis. Our red cabbage here has not headed. Oh, it's starting to head. Look at that. It's starting to head. It's growing slower but bigger than the green cabbage on this side. The green cabbage is about ready. So you can see here, it's got a nice little small head. They're smaller plants. There is some pest pressure, mostly slug damage. This one, there might be, I'm a little concerned that there might be more than just slug damage in this one. But that's our little green cabbage, and it's ready to go. This is spinach that I grew from seed, and it is huge. And here's the broccoli. You can see this is a nice size head here. This is ready to pick. We just picked 2 of them. This is the piece of broccoli that got damaged by a critter early in the season, and it's producing small florets. You can even eat the leaves. These small tender leaves are delicious in salad. This one's a nice size head ready to be picked. This one is pretty good size head. These are all ready. See how they are getting a little bit of yellow spots? These are flowers opening up. We picked this one the day before yesterday, and it's already starting to grow additional flowerets. And this one too. We picked this one the day before yesterday. And there's some more red cabbage. Okay, this is our celery. It has, it's gotten a nice size, and I think we can start harvesting it. We haven't harvested any celery yet. But the lettuce we've harvested a lot from. We harvest those on the outside, the outer leaves first. And I'll go around and show you a closer look at those. You can see here our leeks are doing really well. And this is the store-bought spinach. The spinach we bought starts from. And it's getting really big. So these are our leeks. And these are our romaine lettuce. We have eaten the most of these, and they're starting to head up really, really nicely. They haven't bolted, so they're a little more hardy, heat resistant, I guess you could say. There is a little bit of, there is a little bit of pest pressure on them, but not bad. I've been using neem oil, which is just like a half gallon of water and a tablespoon of neem oil and just a few drips of dish soap, and then just mix that in a spray, and that keeps the pest pressure down a lot. This is a spinach I grew from seed, and it is bolting. I just noticed. You can see here that it's going to seed. There. So a lot of things are bolting in the garden. These are spring things that are getting ready to come out. So I just wanted to kind of show you around. I have planted, this is a better bush tomato. That's an eggplant. And these 2 are purple tomatillos. And these will be summer things. They'll be growing up big in this area. These are our lettuces. You can see here, this is the butter crunch lettuce, and it is bolting. If I let this one go to seed, I don't have any seeds for this one yet, so I might let this one go to seed. This is what it looks like as it begins to bolt. it starts shooting up, getting skinnier. The leaves spread out a bit. It's definitely bolting. And then seeds will show up at the very top. These are not bolting. These are the curly romaine. And they are delicious. They're huge. There's 6 of them in this bed. And then our green romaine again. The same ones that are in the other bed. Now this carrot came from last year's garden. When I was amending the beds, I pulled out this carrot and replanted it over here. I was hoping that it would go to seed for me so that I could gather some seeds up for the fall. And it has started to flower. You may recognize these flowers. They look a lot like Queen Anne's lace, and that Queen Anne's lace is in the carrot family. So that's what carrot flowers look like. And so I'm excited to get seeds off that guy. It's called a short and sweet carrot. It's the only one flowering in the garden, so it should give me true seeds. Now here's my only beet plant in the garden. This beet plant is hardy. It hasn't offered to go to seed. The seeds were about 5 years old, and I planted a bunch, and this is the only one that came up, or survived. Actually 3 came up, but only this one survived. And I planted it over here. I've been babying it and protecting it. I was hoping it would go to seed for me, but it looks like it's a long way from that. It's a really hardy variety. These little guys are butter crunch. They're a butter something. They're not a true butter crunch like that one is. But I planted these from seed, and they're doing okay. They may bolt. Plants don't care how big they are when they bolt. They care what the weather is like. So if it's too hot, they're going to bolt no matter what size they are. So they'll probably bolt. So there's one of the primary lettuce beds that we have. Now these 3 plants are called a black creme tomato. They're still very, very small, but they're going to produce very, very large tomatoes. There's a bok choy and another butter lettuce. This is a yellow pear, and this is a sweetie cherry tomato. Okay, it's raining harder, you can hear. I've got my umbrella to protect my camera. So I hope you can still hear me. Our sugar snap peas have started to produce pods. There's a nice sized pod there. There's all kinds of them. We're so excited about sugar snap peas. Okay. Down here I have started a couple of tomato plants. These are a local grower gave me seeds for these, and hopefully they'll do really well because they were grown here. Okay, we are in the polytunnel, and these are the dragon tongue bush bean. They have a pink flower, and they're starting to set some fruit here. You can see a very small bean here and there. They'll be ready in about a week. This is another yellow pear tomato that I haven't got in the ground. I was going to give this one away, but I've been taking care of it until I find a new home for it. This is a small basil that I started, and some cilantro. Cilantro doesn't do very well in the heat, so it may not do very well at all, but it's trying. And another bean plant. I've got a little bit of weeding to do in the polytunnel. I've got a strawberry plant here that's not doing so good in this pot. I thought I'd try it in the pot. It's not doing so great. This is a purple tomatillo. I've already planted some of these out in the garden. They are starting to set some fruit at the top, you can see. When they set fruit in the pots like this, that's a sign of distress, so that's not good. Here's some additional tomatoes I have as backups in case the ones out there don't make it, but they're looking pretty good. Back here you can see some eggplants. I want to plant some more eggplants out. I haven't had a chance yet. This is a clone yellow pear tomato. I got right off of a sucker out in the garden. And these are black cherry tomatoes. They're big enough to go ahead and plant out. So I'm working on getting those out in the garden too. These are called ground cherries. They're like a tomatillo, but they're yellow instead of purple. And they're starting to set fruit too. Alright. These are some spare watermelon plants. I've got about half of my watermelon plants planted out in the garden right now. And these guys are in here as a backup in case those don't survive. And then I've got peppers. There's some little ones started here that haven't gotten quite big enough. Peppers take a long time. And then some jalapenos, chili cayennes. Here's some more Butterbush tomatoes. And this is a zinnia. Now my zinnias I planted too early. Most of them died because with the frost, that hard freeze that we had. But these guys, this one plant has done really well, and I'm going to plant her somewhere. Zinnias help with the garden. Here's some more cucumber plants that I started from seed in the polytunnel, and I've got to get those planted out as well. Okay, well that's it for this video. I just wanted to give you a quick garden update. And I'll be doing a full garden tour. Those are some carrots I missed there. I'll be doing a full garden tour here at the summer equinox in mid-June. There's one radish. We've got a few radishes coming up in here. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good day, friends. Bye-bye.